Like, we gotta do that again.
I'm a professional, obviously. What's up, you guys? Welcome to the People It Takes podcast. I'm your host, Lauryn Squires, and I'm here with another super special guest. This is my friend, Alyvia.
Hi.
We are off to a great start. We're here in a different location. We're not on Disney property for the first time. We're at Arizona State. I'm a recent graduate from here.
You're an alumni.
An alumni, yeah. That's cool. I sound so old. You're still here.
Uh-huh.
So we're a couple of Sun Devils, and we're here on campus because I'm in Arizona, so what better place to be than Arizona State University. Go Devils.
Woo!
Alyvia here has one of the roles that I have always wanted. And I'm so jealous that she had it. I feel like everyone at some point has wanted this job. Hollywood Tower of Terror, Bellhop, right?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to get into that in just a minute. We're going to do the lightning round questions to really get to know you. I feel like that's the best way to get to know a person, right?
Real. Yeah.
By knowing what their favorite Disney movie is.
Ooh. Tangled.
Tangled?
Tangled is my favorite.
That's a common one.
But I also am very attached to Tarzan. Like, I love Tarzan.
That is so special. That's so fair.
And Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I was going to say, I love
my
your
shirt.
shirt.
Yeah.
It's so underrated.
So that's first, second, third. And they're all very close for me.
I feel like Hunchback is not a kid's movie.
It's not, but it's so good.
It's so good. Favorite Pixar movie?
Oh my gosh. Ratatouille.
Yeah, good one.
I love Ratatouille.
Favorite live action Disney movie?
Oh, Cinderella. I don't even know why I thought about that one.
That one's so good.
Yeah, I love that one.
So good. Favorite character and why?
Anna, because...
you kind of look like her.
Oh, thank you. I owned a character company where I did, like, children's entertainment.
Oh my
and she was,
gosh.
like, my go-to. And she was just so relatable and so funny. Like, she was the first, like, princess that didn't feel so princessy.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like I could be myself and still
Yeah.
feel like a princess, which was cool.
Disneyland or Disney World?
Disney World. I'm sorry.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week.
It's the one I grew up on,
That's
so.
typically how it goes.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's understandable, I guess. What's your favorite Disney song?
God Help the Outcasts from Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's so good.
So good. So good. Beautiful.
Yes.
That scene with the stained glass.
Yes, and the message and
all of it.
Just the lighting, like the way they animated the lighting, I can't get over it.
Just, the Renaissance Disney is just like,
It's so
gorgeous.
Yes.
Gorgeous. Okay, now to get into the... Oh my gosh. This one I've been waiting. I've been so excited to ask you this. Do you know about Sparky Sun Devil?
Yes, of course I do.
Well, obviously, that was the wrong question for me to ask. Do you know where he came from? Who he was designed by?
No.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm gonna blow your mind. So, Sparky was actually designed by a former Disney animator.
No way.
The rumor is that the guy didn't like Walt Disney so much that he inspired Sparky's face off of Walt Disney.
That's crazy.
So Sparky Sun Devil has Walt Disney's facial features.
Facial features.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And ASU will neither confirm nor deny this. So imagine despising a guy so much, like your former boss so much, that you're like, oh, I have to design a devil, a sun devil, but nevertheless a devil. And they put your former boss's face onto this mascot.
He's a savage for that.
Right? And he's like, he's still there. So once you see it, you can't unsee it. But I'll have
That's
to show
crazy.
You, like,
I have to look at him again.
with the little mustache
Yeah.
and everything, you can see it and you can't unsee it.
That's
Anyway.
so crazy.
Little fun.
The more you know.
So Disney, we're very tied in here at ASU to Disney. It's in the blood because
Yes.
Walt Disney is part of Sparky Sun Devil. Thought you should know that.
Thank you.
What year did you start with Disney?
I started with Disney in 2023 in January, so very beginning of 2023.
And was it for a program or full-time?
Program.
What was that?
It was amazing.
Do you
I loved
recommend
it. I do. It was a really cool experience. I was very happy that I chose 6 months and I stuck with that. I think a lot of people that turn sour about the program, they stay a little longer
Yeah.
or shorter.
That's
I feel
true.
like 6 months was really good for me because I was able to see like the highs and the lows, but overall it was good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like the perfect amount. I think mine was like 7 months, but it was like right on that tipping point where you're like, okay, I need to go home.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about your role, because I'm so jealous of this role, and I know so many other people are. Tell me about your role as a bellhop on the Tower of Terror.
It was so fun. Going in, I was actually really nervous because I am a very happy, bubbly person.
I literally asked her this after I met her. I was like, how did you work Tower of Terror when you're like such a happy person?
Yeah. And so going in, like everybody was like, Tower of Terror, like, are you sure they got your role right? Like kind of making those kinds of jokes. And I was like, haha, very funny. But I was genuinely nervous. Like,
No.
because in the training, they have a really big emphasis on theme,
Yeah.
which I think like Haunted Mansion and Tower of Terror have in common, and I think Pirates has it a little
Yeah.
bit. Like those really like theme-heavy, fan-favorite rides, they really try to emphasize
They
the
play
theme.
into it the best they can.
Yeah, so they were talking about like, okay, try not to smile. You want to be like snarky but not mean. You want to like, and I was hearing all these things and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I finished like my training and I had just gotten out of the last bit of training. We didn't have a trainer, so I was in stroller parking for like 8 days.
Oh, wow.
and when we got out of that, I got to like be in the Tower of Terror for the first time and really like get to theme by myself without a trainer being like hovering over me,
Oh my
you know?
gosh.
So I was really excited, and I was stuck in the library, and the library is really boring. Okay, because
Why?
there's nothing to do. The only reason why they have a cast member in there is so people don't steal light bulbs. Because
Light bulbs of all
there's
things?
yeah, because it's happened, but apparently the rumor has it that it was a cast member that did it anyway. The tea. So it's an hour you're sitting in a library with the same show rolling every like 4 or 5 minutes, and it's really dark in there. The guests are not paying attention to you. They're watching the TV. So I found that as the perfect opportunity to scare people. I was
Yes,
like,
you're
you're
one
not
of
supposed to
them.
jump scare, but I was very excited to have the opportunity to just creep out, you know, because it's right before you get to the boiler room. So I finally got to like start being creepy, so I would open the door with a scary face,
Oh my
and I came up with
gosh.
a cute little like creepy wave, and I would like walk behind people while they were watching the show, and they just didn't know I was there because I was really quiet, and the lights would turn off and turn back on, so sometimes I would move in between, and it was so fun. So I think for me it became easy because it was so fun.
That's like the best.
Yeah.
When it just becomes like it's not even a job anymore. You're just
Exactly.
having fun with it.
Yeah.
That just sounds so fun to me. I have to ask, are you one of the people that gets like annoyed when the guests start reciting the storyline because they've been on it so many times?
Kind of, a little bit. I think like it's very hit or miss. If there's the people that are like mouthing it silently, I don't mind. But there are people that write it for the first time, and it kind of ruins it for them.
Yeah.
So, like, I get it, because part of me wants to do it too, because I sat there
we know it,
forever.
yeah.
So, yeah, very hit or miss. I don't know.
Because it's like Haunted Mansion has that too, where it gives the storyline and it says like the stuff in the elevator, and everyone starts saying it, and then it's like, okay, we all know it,
Yeah.
but for those of us who don't know it, hush.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was your favorite part of the role? Favorite
Ooh.
place to be stationed?
That's really hard. It was so fun to be everywhere.
Yeah.
Except for like tower control. That was not fun. That you can't theme in there. Guests don't see you in there.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I would say, ooh, this is tricky. I've never been asked this before. I think probably between library and like the boiler room when you're right at the elevator. What was nice about being at the elevator was it was very fast. Like if you had a long shift and you were tired and you wanted to go home, that hour felt like 10
Went
minutes.
by fast.
Yeah.
Because you're doing stuff. Is that when you're loading everyone into the elevator?
Yeah, so
that's so fun.
Yeah, and you get to still be creepy, and like everybody's really nervous, so you can really like kind of test those like nervous habits and be like, oh, I can see you're fidgeting. Why are you nervous? And they're like, oh, why am I nervous? And then
just get in there.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
So that's probably my favorite, but I really like the library too.
Do you ever lose count? Did you ever miscount putting people into the elevator?
I was pretty good at it, but I knew a lot of people that struggled with it.
I feel like I would struggle with that.
The hardest part is that Tower of Terror, I feel like a lot of the other rides, like, it's an even number, but Tower of Terror is 21 seats.
I didn't
so
even
there's
know that. That's a lot. Wow.
So there's 6 across, and then there's 8 across. And like when you're loading, you have to pick like half even groups, half odd groups. So unless you're like breaking them up across the aisle, which sometimes is needed, but you try not to do that because you want to keep families together. And
I was thinking of the theming. So when you said that like everyone has to be serious on that ride, I didn't know this until I watched one of the Disney documentaries on it. The theming was actually supposed to, like, the original guy who like planned out, I don't know if it was Tony Baxter or not, but he planned it so that all the bellhops would be really friendly and outgoing, because to them it was like nothing had changed. They didn't know that it was in disarray or that the Twilight Zone had fallen in, like happened. So they were supposed to be like super friendly and like hospitable because you're at their hotel, so they're like servicing you. And I feel like a lot of people, I don't know if that just didn't translate right and people wouldn't get that theming, and that's why they went into the very serious like spooky vibe. Did you know about that?
I kind of did. They put a big emphasis on when you're a cast member, it is Halloween, and it is, many years ago. So the way you talk, you're supposed to talk a little outdated. You're supposed to mention like things like, oh, have you looked at our dinner menu? It's Halloween night, so it's a little different than usual. Like things like that. They want you to really emphasize nothing has changed. And people interpret that very differently. But I worked with TJ a few times, and he's one of the original bellhops at Tower of Terror. He is really nice, but he definitely leans into like the creepy aspect, and he loves it. And I think when I watch him do it, it just feels like the right way, But I think they're supposed to be like friendly and very hospitable, but they describe in the theming paper like it's very, you don't know that time has passed, so you're supposed to be hospitable, like let me take your bags for you, sew them beneath your feet, but you're supposed to allude to the fact that something's off. So it's supposed to feel like something's off the whole way through. So people interpret that very differently. And so for me, it was, I'm very old. And so I'm very old. So like I would have these like 4-year-olds come in and they're like, your hotel's really pretty. And I'd be like, oh, thank you. We really wanted to lean into the modern architecture and the, how beautiful the modern, very design modern, has been. But something feels a little off. Like I've been here for 84 years, I think.
That's crazy.
But I haven't aged a day. Do you think I've aged? And they're like, no, you're so pretty. And I'm like, thanks.
You're like, that's what we were going for.
Yeah. So it's very interesting because everybody interprets it very differently.
That's so interesting. Oh,
yeah.
I love hearing about it. Have you been on, so did you ever go on California Adventure's Tower of Terror?
I didn't. No.
Sad.
Yeah.
How about, have you been to Disneyland Paris?
No, I haven't been to any of the other ones, but online, like, I've seen people, and some people have reached out to me, and, they work at Disneyland Paris, and they're like, oh my goodness, or I've been to the Guardians ride, and I'll be like, so do you know what happened, like, with this, like, contest? We did a contest across all of the Tower of Terrors for efficiency to see how fast we could load people safely, obviously. Disclaimer. So they were really like pushing efficiency. So they were like, efficiency challenge, like see how fast you can load people, and we did not win.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but our Tower of Terror, I think, I have a lot of pride in. It's the original,
yeah.
And it's made a little differently than the other ones.
Yeah.
So it has the corridor scene, and then the fifth dimension scene is not in the other ones. Like, you move forward. So that was cut out for efficiency, because you can't load as many people, and it's a whole thing.
It takes a lot longer.
Yeah.
That's an additional,
So obviously, like, we were already at a disadvantage because our ride just works differently.
Right.
But we did really well. So I'm proud.
Good for you guys.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because, like, have you seen the storyline for the Disneyland Paris one?
I've seen, like, clips.
Oh,
and
it's so
the
creepy.
little girl is everywhere, and I love it because she's in the
love
TV
it.
at Florida,
Yeah.
but, like, that's most of it.
No,
you
it's
know?
like terrifying. I went on it, a year and a half ago now. I was actually like, this is wrong. This is terrifying. But it was so good because you're actually like creeped out. It felt a little bit like horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, don't cry or don't scream. They'll hear you. And it's like, who will hear me? What do you mean? Like melting in the lovely 98 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. But it's not humid.
That is a win.
Oh, win is a win.
A win is a win. A win is a win.
Like, talking about how we're slowly melting over here because we're in like 98. It's probably like 105. Who knows? I don't know. But
it's usually so hot, and today is like a good day. Like, it's not the worst
it's a nice
day.
Brisk,
but we're still just
weather.
Sweating and.
But it's not Florida.
It's not
there's
Florida.
No humidity because it's a dry heat.
Mm-hmm. So at least our hair doesn't look like.
Yeah, literally. Anyway, rant over.
I know.
At least you had air conditioning in your tower.
Yeah, it's true. That was really lucky.
Spoiled.
Although the boiler room was actually hot.
Oh, I believe it. I can believe that. Yeah.
Like, I don't think it was supposed to be like that. Later, they fixed the AC, and it wasn't hot in there. But when you were working, like, you were active, so you were walking up and down the stairs. Like, even the guests would come up and be like, it's really warm in here. Sorry, it's actually hot in the boiler room.
It's just the Disney theming to its finest.
Exactly.
That's like in Have you been on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride?
Yes.
When you go into hell and it's like 10 degrees hotter.
It's so crazy.
Theming.
That ride is like a fever dream.
Literally, I love it. It's so chaotic in the best ways, and it's like, what just happened? Oh, what's something you wish you knew going into your program? Or joining Disney, like, as a company?
I wish that I had known that it's okay to go to the parks by yourself right at first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I think, like, that was huge on my program. I went a few times solo, and it was so fun because you get to pick your day, you get to pick what rides you go on, you get to pick your budget, like how much food you're buying. And it's a really cool experience that, like, if you're traveling to Disney, that's not something you usually do.
No.
But right at first, I felt like, oh, I need to, like, invite people to go with me. So I went a few times with, like, friends, but I had a lot of days that I wasn't working, that I was spending, like, in my apartment and watching movies and things.
Yeah.
And I wish I had been in, like, the parks more that first, like, month and a half, 2 months before I really, like, started going on solo days and making a consistent effort to go to the parks.
It's like polar opposite for me.
Really?
Because when I got there, I think the first thing I did was like went around. I got lost my first day there. My mom had just left, so I went out on the buses and wanted to like figure it all out because I wasn't used to. I didn't grow up there.
Yeah.
But I was going solo so much, and I would do like things here and there with like my roommate, but it took me a while to like find friends. A lot of mine didn't come until like later in my program.
Okay.
So I was on my own like all the time.
That's crazy.
And then like my parents would like harass me like, why aren't you going with people? Are you alone again? No, I'm fine. It's great. I prefer it, and I still sometimes to this day prefer going alone.
Yeah.
But different.
It's so different.
You experience the parks like in a completely different way.
Yeah.
When you're with people versus when you're on your own. But like neither are bad or better than the other one. They're just so different.
True. Yeah. And I think it's so crazy. Like, our experiences were so different, but like the same at the same time.
Literally the same. Because it's like, I should probably go with people, and you were like, I should probably like Or I can go on my own, too.
Yeah. Because I was really lucky when I first got there. I found a lot of friends. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know how it happened. Like, my roommate and I got along so well.
Yeah.
And we were like, we're going to make friends. So, so we, in, like, all of the little internship, like, things, like, I think I met most of my friends in the fingerprinting line. Like,
Oh, my God.
yeah, where we were all going to get our fingerprint done, and we were all just talking, and, I met some of my friends, and then we would go to the parks together, and then I started meeting, like, more people after my roommate left, but I still hung out with those same people, and it was really, really fun. But they, you know, worked different jobs than me.
Yeah.
A lot of people on your program don't work the same job as
So
you.
it's different hours, too, and that makes it harder, too.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was nice to know that I can go by myself.
Yeah, that makes, like, all the difference, honestly.
Yeah.
Did you experience any hardships or regrets during your time at Disney?
Honestly, I was really lucky that I had a good program. A lot of people talk about like bad roommate experiences and things,
Right.
and I just didn't. I really
Same,
lucked
yeah.
out.
So what month did you start?
I started in January.
Oh, it was nice and cold.
Yeah.
Speaking of cold, oh my goodness, you wore the jacket, right? The, like, Hollywood Tower of Terror jacket.
Yeah.
The question I get asked all the time with my Galaxy's Edge costume was, do you get to keep your costume? Do you get to take it home? Do you get to keep it? I was like, no.
No.
So
I
same thing
wish.
to you, yeah. So just so everyone's clear, no.
I can't keep my costume. But sometimes they have little like merchandise things that kind of look like pieces of your costume.
Right.
So for Tower of Terror, I bought a little keychain that has like the hat on it.
Oh.
So that's really special to me. But yeah.
Did you love when you put that costume on? Were you like,
It was so
real,
fun.
This is so cool.
I remember the first time I put it on. I was in my like shared bathroom area at the Flamingo, and I put on the whole thing and my hat, and my hair was in a slick back ponytail, and I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, oh my gosh, like
Kinda
I'm really
spooky.
doing this.
It's happening.
It was
yeah.
crazy. And then it was 5 a.m. and you're walking through Hollywood Studios, and you're in the costume, and I'm walking towards Tower of Terror, and it's all lit up at night.
Just walking
And,
into work.
and it was so beautiful.
There was a bellhop, one of you guys, I would cross paths with him going into work all the time.
Really?
And he would, like, be so in character that his, like, lunchbox and stuff would be the case, like a suitcase.
That's actually really common. People
Yeah,
that
I
work
would
there
assume more of
part-time,
that.
full-time love to do that.
I'm like, I love you for that. That's so cool.
Yeah, I always like thought about it. I was like, what if I did that? And I was like, I don't want to pay money for a suitcase. But I still would try to keep the integrity, like even going in and out.
Right.
If I, was going to spend the day in the parks, I would make sure I did not look like I was in costume at all.
Yeah.
And even going into work, like I remember there was one time I was in costume and I was walking into work, and I was waving like this at people, and they were like, ooh, we should go to Tower of Terror later. And Mr. Incredible and Mrs. Incredible walked by, and I was walking here, and inside I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just bumped into Mr. Incredible, I love you. But I was like, I can't say that, like I'm a bellhop. So I was like, hello. And then Mr. Incredible came over and he grabbed my hand and kissed it. And I was like,
stop.
That's so wholesome. But I was like, thank you.
Full character mode.
Yeah.
Good for you. Oh my
It was so funny. And then Mrs. Incredible looked at me like,
excuse me?
so funny.
Get
yeah.
away from my man.
For real. It was the funniest interaction in my whole program,
I love
probably.
Stuff like that. It just makes it like, this is why we work here. This is why we love this.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. If you could go back and relive one moment or day while working for Disney, what would it be?
I would probably say I went on like a Valentine's Day trip by myself to Epcot, and I don't think I had been to Epcot very much yet. I was a Disney World local growing up, but I only went to Magic Kingdom. So my whole goal was I wanted to love Epcot by the end of it.
Oh.
So I went, and I was gifted this beautiful like sweatshirt, and it had Minnie and Daisy on it, and it was Galentine's,
Oh my
and
gosh.
it was so cute. So I was going around, and I was going to, what was my plan? My plan, I think, was to meet as many characters as I can. So I met like Anna and Elsa, and Anna was really funny. She said, she said, oh, I love your shirt, like, happy Valentine's Day. And she was like, do you have a Valentine? And I was like, yeah, I do. He's just not here with me. I was long distance at the time. And she goes,
Oh no.
that last year, Kristoff had given her chocolate-covered carrots. And so she made sure that this year he was going to give her chocolate-covered strawberries. And I thought that was so funny.
She just knew it.
Yeah.
That's so
and it's just like, in true Anna fashion, it was very like fast and like
Oh my
hilarious,
gosh.
and it was so good. I
That's
have
so
like a short
good.
little video of it. It's so good. I'll go back and rewatch it sometimes when I'm
That's
bored. I'm
so
like, this is so
great.
funny. I decided to hop over to Magic Kingdom, and I finished out the day with like as many rides as I could before it
Oh.
closed. And I got to see my friend Mikey worked at Pirates at the time, so
fun.
I got to go on Pirates, and I think that was my last ride of the day. And
That's so fun.
it was so fun. Yeah.
Sometimes solo days are just like top tier.
Yes.
Like on another level. What's a piece of advice you would give someone starting an internship or program, or just the company itself?
Ooh. I would say don't be afraid to say hi to everyone.
Yeah.
I think like a lot of people go in like expecting people to say hi to them. I think that's how you are just when you're nervous in
Yeah.
general. And I think like I made so many friends just by saying hi in the most
Yeah.
random places.
just walking up to people. Yeah.
Yes, like, you know, I would ride a ride by myself, and I'd be like, where are you from? And they're like, I'm doing my Disney college program. And I'm like, me too.
Me too. And then your friends.
And then your friends, yeah, or the fingerprinting line.
Right.
Yeah, just random places. If you say hi, you can make a friend. And
Yeah.
some of those are lifelong friends. Like one of my Disney friends worked with me, but we trained together, but we didn't talk very much until like we said hi and really talked one day, and we had so much in common, and she was one of my bridesmaids. So
Stop.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
uh-huh.
Oh my
But
gosh.
it's just so special to have those friends that like
Yeah.
connect with you, especially if you love Disney. I think that can be a grounds for great friendship if you have that much in common.
There's so much to talk about.
So
with it.
personal. Yeah, and there's so much to talk about. It's just, and so many places to go together, and it's
Yeah.
just so fun. Say hi.
You can meet like some of the best friends ever.
Yeah.
Maybe your bridesmaids in the Disney college program, or groomsmen. Like either way,
Yeah.
I've heard it both ways, which is so crazy.
I know.
Okay, what's like the best memory or experience you had with a guest?
Okay, I was at Lobby, so that's right in front of the libraries where you're greeting the guests as they first enter the Tower of Terror, and they're still in line, so they're a little antsy, but they're excited, but they're not like freaked out yet. So your job is really to get them a little nervous before they see the show and start them thinking like, this is kind of weird, like what's up with this hotel? And so I was, just silent, staring at the guests and being all creepy. And then this little 6-year-old boy comes over, and on his way into the library, he goes, and I look, and there's a dinosaur. A cute little dinosaur. And I was like, this is precious. So I put it in my pocket, and I was like, thank you. And then he goes, and later I get rotated, and I'm in the boiler room, and I'm loading people. And this little girl comes up, and she's like, hey, guess what? And I was like, what? And she goes, and it was a King Candy, and I was like, the same day? And it was this cute little King Candy, like, keychain, and it was so cute. So I was like, how can I make a little magic for this little girl that made magic for me? She was like 4. So cute. So I was, being my creepy self and whatever, and I was reaching in my pocket, and I pulled out the little dinosaur, and I said, oh, what's that behind your ear? And I went up and I pulled out the dinosaur, and she was like, oh, and I was like, just a little, magic for your day. And so we had a cute little trade moment. It was so cute.
That's so cute.
Another one where I was in the library, and that was where I got to be my creepiest. Like, I didn't have any tasks to do, so I could just be really creepy. And a lot of, you can leave cast compliments on the Disney Experience app. So a lot of my cast compliments where that came from was like, she creeped me out in the library so much, and it was awesome. And there was this one guest that came through my library, and I was creeping them out, then I would do this thing where I would wave, and then I would come towards the back, And then while everybody was watching the show, I'd pick someone and I'd go behind and I'd like whisper in their ear at the same time as the show, like, it's waiting for you.
Ew.
And they'd always be like, oh my gosh, like, where'd you come from? So I did that to a family. And it was like this group of, like, it was an older family, so all their kids were adults. And they, like, loved it. And they came back, like, 2 days later, and they found me at Unload, so that's where people are coming off the ride. And they said, oh my goodness, we talked about you the whole way home from the on the Skyliner to our hotel. You were awesome. You creeped us out so much. And they were like, can we take a picture with you? And I was like, sure. And then one of the women goes, can you sign my autograph book? And I was like, what? That's so sweet.
That is so
and
great.
so, like, you know, I'm flipping through the book and it's like Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Goofy, and then I got to write Alyvia, Tower of Terror, Bellhop, and with a little lightning bolt. It was so fun.
So
and it was cute because it was
fun.
like, it made magic for my day. And it was fun to know that, like, I had an impact.
You had a huge impact.
Yeah,
in
that
the
they
thing. Like, you were
came
you were
back
right
and
up there
found
with
me
Minnie
and
Mickey.
recognized me.
Yeah.
Like, that was really special.
That's so special. Was it yesterday? Tower of Terror's birthday?
What day was it yesterday?
Friday
the 13th? Yeah, I think so. That's crazy.
It was intentional. Dang, I should have had your episode come out yesterday. Whatever. What has been a full circle moment you've experienced when working for Disney?
Wow. I think one of the most special ones was the first time I went as a cast member, after, like, traditions had happened, and I was really feeling like, I'm a cast member, this is crazy. And I went to the parks for the first time, and I just watched all these little girls in princess dresses getting signatures from all the princesses and being like, Mommy and Daddy, thank you so much, I love you. And just, it felt like every experience that I watched little kids that day, no one was crying, no one was whining, everyone was just so happy to be there.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of when I was a little princess-obsessed girl,
Yeah.
and Belle was always my favorite princess, and I dressed up as her for Halloween when I was like 4, and it was really full circle for me, because even though, like, Tangled's my favorite movie, Disney movie, but it's not like, you know, I don't think princesses are as big for me anymore.
Yeah.
I think it's something that has just really grew my love for Disney and really shaped who
That's
I
where
am.
it started, yeah.
Yeah, so it was really, really sweet to watch that.
That's so sweet. It's like stuff like that. I'm like, oh, because it's true. It's like that's where it all begins, and you were like the little princess once too, and now you're like part of the company, providing that magic, helping make that magic, and that's just so cool. That's so good. Very serious question here that everyone's dying to know, and I expect nothing but the truth from you.
Okay.
Because if anyone would know this, you would probably know this. The Tiptop Club.
It's real.
Is it real?
It's real, but it's not real. Like, you can't go up there and actually, as a guest, see it.
Have you been up there?
But they kind of. So they have an elevator that we have to take, and we would always, like, joke that it kidnapped us to the Tiptop Club, and because to the 13th floor, because it just, the elevator didn't work very well. So sometimes you would put in 2, and it would literally take you all the way up.
Oh my gosh.
To the top, which is the 12th floor, but there's also a basement, so it's the 13th floor.
Okay.
And we'd go up, and the doors would open, and it'd be really awkward, and we'd be laughing, and then you'd have to come all the way back down.
Oh my god.
But yeah, but I always would mention the Tiptop Club to our friends that came from Epcot and were more tipsy. I'd be like, you are going to love our Tiptop Club. Make sure you take the elevator all the way up. A lot of our guests are there partying right now. There's a whole bar you can participate in, and you can dance, and I'm sure you can see it. Like, during the 50th, they had the projection.
Yeah, all the dancing.
So we would talk about, like, oh, and I'm sure you can see it. They're dancing in the windows, and
I love watching that.
So at the unload floor, when you're on, you can watch this. You back out from the drop shaft, and you back into this room with a bunch of clutter, and it looks like you're obviously not supposed to be there because it's our maintenance elevators, right? And there's a, like, marionette puppet with a top hat, and he's really creepy looking.
Isn't it a Charlie McCarthy?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
love him. We call him Caesar. His name is Caesar. And if the ride goes down, it's his fault every time.
Ew.
Yeah,
I mean, that
but
makes
our
sense.
friends that wanted the ride to break because it meant more time to relax because you're not loading people, they would joke around that they were going to do a little dance with Caesar and get the ride to shut down. They would call it their 101 dance.
No. Oh, we would call that, what would we say? We said, this sounds so wrong when I say it out of context, but like it made sense at the time. We would sacrifice a turtle.
What turtle?
I don't know where it came from, but you sacrifice a turtle if you want it to rain. And so that way everyone would like be chilling in the rain. So it was like I haven't thought of that until now. Like since my program, have not thought of that phrase.
That's so funny.
Sacrifice a turtle.
There you go.
And everyone would just we just look at each other across stage like,
Please, let it rain.
so it's either Caesar or it's a turtle. Sorry.
There you go.
You can blame the PhotoPass if it was a turtle, but Hollywood Tower of Terror if it was Caesar. Tell me about the restaurant. What do you know?
Okay, so the restaurant has, a lot of people don't know about the restaurant. So it was really fun to tell like our really interested guests about it.
Yeah.
Because every once in a while you'd get a guest that comes through that's just so excited about it all, and they're like, whoa, this is so cool. And you'd be like, okay, like where am I? If I was at Unload, that was my magic moment for them. But they have some doors that are locked, and outside they have a menu that has lots of different entree options, and the date on it says October 31st, and it's one of the primary places where you can see a date. So there's one on the way into the Tower of Terror. They have a plaque that has the date. Like, the Tower of Terror is current, like this is their modern day, whatever.
Yeah.
But it is locked. You can't go in there. It's just for show, but it's really
crazy.
Cool.
I feel like there's so many like little hidden things in Tower of Terror.
Yes.
It's the same with like
There's so
Haunted Mansion
many.
and Pirates and everything. There's just like the hidden things, like even like the hidden Mickey in the
Mhm.
stars.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yes.
Of course you've seen that. You
Yes.
work it.
It's
That's
only
so
in
cool.
one of them though.
I was wondering because I
Mhm.
feel like I didn't see it last time, and I'm like, I swear.
Yeah,
I'm
I know
serious.
which one it is, but I won't spoil it for
No.
the rest of the people out there. They also have some really antique, like old furniture in that
That's
main
so
area.
cool.
Their tables are like Persian, I think. They're like hundreds
Wow.
of years old. They're
I don't know
awesome.
if it was true or not that they actually had props from the old Twilight Zone episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they do.
that's so cool.
Yeah, if you ask one of the more seasoned cast members, I'm sure they can
Point out
direct
which
you.
ones.
They're mostly in the libraries.
Yeah,
Mhm.
behind the bars, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Or up
if you know the
above.
Twilight Zone, they love to talk about it because
Twilight
a
Zone.
lot of people don't.
Did you grow up
No.
watching it? Oh, I
Yeah.
loved it.
I watched a few episodes, but yeah.
Love it. You know it's not Rod Serling when he's like doing, you know who that is?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like,
It would be wrong if I didn't know who Rod Sterling was.
But when he's like giving his little speech, that's not actually his voice. Because
Really?
he had died. He wasn't alive when the ride came out because it was such a long time ago.
That's crazy.
So this other guy is actually talking over him, and they're taking his video from previous episodes and just like puzzling it together.
That's so cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, because we have a Rod backstage, so I know who Rod is. Rod Sterling.
What do you mean?
Like a cutout. He was in our tower. Our tower control where you like
I was like, is this like the Waltz thing where they have Walt frozen somewhere instead they have Rod Sterling frozen in the back of it?
Yeah, no.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That
he
makes
just
sense,
chills
though.
backstage with you, and yeah, we love him.
I would. I love that man.
Yeah.
I think he's so attractive. The real reason I was obsessed with If you could go on a ride with Walt Disney,
Ooh.
what would it be?
Oh, that's so hard. Because you have to... Are you picking, like, if you could show him a ride that exists, or, like...
It could be that it exists. You're just experiencing it with him.
I feel like I have to get him on Tower of Terror. Like,
Oh, yeah.
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 Like, I would I would really like if I could show him Tower of Terror and like.
That'd be so good.
Yeah, because it's just such a unique ride, and I
Yeah.
think Walt would be very proud of it.
Yeah, the theming.
Yeah, it's just
Alone,
it's
yeah.
so good, so classic, and
And I bet he watched Twilight Zone.
maybe.
I bet he watched
Yeah.
it. So that's crazy. That'd be so good. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Uh-huh.
Good answer.
I wonder if he would be a thrill seeker kind of man, or if
I'm
he,
really
because a lot of
curious.
his rides are
He
so
was more
like
just
chill
theme park.
that
He
I
didn't
wonder
wanna do
if like
amusement.
Tower of Terror would freak him out. That could be fun. Can you imagine like you're taking Walt Disney and he's like, ah!
No, literally, that's what we were on the last episode with Eric. We were talking about putting him on the Mickey's Fun Wheel. The
Oh my goodness.
Pixar Pal Ride. the Ferris wheel that has
with the swinging
and what
gondolas.
he would do, how he would react to that. Because like, don't tell him that it swings, and then he gets on no seatbelts, nothing. If he'd be like, what has my park turned into? Last question. If you could ask Walt Disney a question, what would it be?
I think everyone knows that Cinderella was his favorite movie to animate, and I think I would ask him, like, definitely something related to Cinderella, but probably like, what was the most like, what made Cinderella to you? Because I think he loves the scene where she transforms and has the beautiful dress. Like, that's just
Yes.
some crazy animation for its
Beautiful,
time,
yeah.
and just beautiful scene in general. Like, even just watching now, it's extraordinary. I think it
Yeah.
would be really fun to ask him more details about Cinderella.
Oh, that's a good one. Usually it's like about the parks or something, but to think about like where it started, like the animation. Good question. Are there any other Tower of Terror trivia tidbits you want to throw in?
I don't know.
I think we covered a lot of them.
We did.
Unless you're hiding something.
I mean, there's definitely more. There's always more
There's
with
so
Tower.
much,
There's
yeah.
so much.
But that's what makes it like that much better.
Yes, yeah. Especially the people that work there full time, and they are very, very proud to work there. Like, it's a very cool spot to be, and we don't take it for granted at Tower.
That's like where to wrap it up. That's a perfect point. It's just like that sums up all of it, like what it's
Yeah.
like to work there and be a part of it. So on that note, thank you for being one of the people it takes.
Oh, thank you.
That's so what a cool role in your time at Disney too. Like, that's so crazy.
I was so lucky.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you could be here. Thanks for being a part of it.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, of course. The other thing, we didn't meet on the program. We actually just met like a month ago in Disneyland.
Yeah.
After following each other, because her program ended when I came back for my seasonal position.
We like
last
barely
year
missed each other.
by like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So it's just like, but we're both in Arizona. She's going to the same school. So
Speaking of which, like, thank you so much for your, like, sharing your journey on your program. Because I didn't say it before, but, like, that was one of my big reasons for coming out. I was not going to do the program at all.
oh my gosh.
And I actually spontaneously decided to do it because I was watching your Instagram reel. And
It made me
I started
cry.
watching, like, other videos, and I fell down a rabbit hole, and I decided that day to apply because applications were open, and you had like announced it after I had watched some of your other
No
reels, and I was like,
way.
no way, like, it's open, I might as well apply, and if I get in, I might as well go. And then I
Yeah.
did, and now my life is forever different.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Thank you for sharing that. I'm glad it like pushed you to it. That's so cool.
Yeah. So thank you.
Well, now I have to go cry for a while. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for being here.
Of
I hope
course.
you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did, because I've been waiting for this episode and for this guest. So good, so good. Like and subscribe, like this video, give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It helps a lot. I'll see you guys next episode. Have a good weekend, you guys.
Bye.